In a Euclidean point, there is no definition for the point itself other than axioms that it satisfies, like the intersection of lines. There is an infinite intersection of lines to a point, through a Euclidean point. And this is a part of nature, part of reality, the most basic part. And my idea is of a hyper intersection topology. It considers both the point and the line. They find each other through the shared intersection that they have, the shared intersection of reality. And as you can see, there's two different varieties so far that I've discovered of intersections. There's off-centered intersection, goes up to a centered intersection, back to an off-centered intersection, up to a centered intersection, off-centered intersection, centered intersection, off-centered intersection. And for the number of the nodes increase, they go from a uniform or a stable array, ones all around in this sense, to a oscillating array, twos and ones, then a stable 2, then oscillating 3s and 2s, then a stable 3, then an oscillating 3 and 4, then a stable 4, and it goes on like that. And my idea is of a concentrated intersection of reality, or the potential to concentrate an intersection of reality. And these are fractal points, what I call hyperpoints, not fractal points, hyper intersections. They're intersections, but with it's the region that's considered. It's where the point and the line share a region of intersection that's capable of being compressible or compactable. An infinite point has infinite lines running through it, and it's not compactable, it's fully compact. It can't be compressed any further. A hyper intersection, you can describe it with a graph, and it describes the point and line both describe the intersection, which is not infinite, but it can be compressed and concentrated. And that would be a man-made form of nature's most basic element, a point in space, a geometric point. It would have to be man-made, but it has the qualities that it can be compressed, and it has finite number of intersections. This gets rid of the infinite number of intersections of a point with its finite, so they can expand to grow near infinitely large. It's still a graph, and so it's still finite, but it's man-made. And all a portal is an invisible point that can be any size, but still have a finite amount of intersections. It's an intersection of reality, a visual and physical intersection, invisible and intangible to the senses. It defines a point, much like a wavelength in a quantum realm can be expanded up to the size of the universe itself. A point, in my definition of a hyperpoint, can be expanded up to the size of the universe itself. The universe might be one big portal, or have the potential for portal production, the hidden dimension of a point hidden in the fabric of a reality, space-time reality. And there's 3 different types of portal. There's a photographic portal, the televisual portal, and the cosmic portal, a bridged horizon of realities that must overcome the ghost interfacing paradox first before it can be achieved. But for now, there's a point and the intersection, much like the periphery point of a metamaterial and the intersection of the light field. The periphery and the intersection, the region of space and the intersection of space itself, the 2 alternate sides of a point. And with this new definition of a hyperpoint with fractal lines, it's the embodiment of for one, a visual intersection of reality, which, whatever case it may be, there's a intersection of reality, and where space itself disappears, it must reappear somewhere else, invisible, holographic bound. So the points, my hyperpoints and fractal lines, become the basis for a portal inspired by the invisible holographic principle and invisible holographic principle. And I'd like to apply my mathematical ideas to a numerical form of an invisible holographic principle. For numerical invisibility and holographic principle, this is the most basic addition cube of my magic ghost number cubes, where you have 1 primary number in the square array and 1 primary number in the 6 primary numbers that make up the cube. This is an addition. This is a square and cube duality. The 1 in the central ghost number of an addition cube equals 1 itself, and 1 3 times equals the 3 of the addition cube at its most basic 1 primary number and all the rest zeros, because each one of these, 3 of these put together in a triplane form would equal the cube, which would add to 3. This is true for addition cubes, but a holographic cube or a multiplication cube is a little bit more different. The most basic multiplication cube has to have 1s all the way around it, and the most basic multiplication cube square has to have 1s all the way around it. If you have even 1 0, it would set the central ghost number and the outer ghost numbers to 0, which is a square or a cube of addition or multiplication with the inner and outer ghost numbers. I claim are not defined. They must have at least a 1 as an identity, I think. And there's no duality in the multiplication cube and square, because they both equal each other. They're a square and cube equality, not a square and cube duality, holographic duality in any way. So I'm guessing that there might be a four-dimensional multiplication cube where at its most basic creation, at its most basic state, a 1 inner ghost number has to equal 3 outer ghost numbers, like the addition cube did, to correspond to a two-dimensional squares single contribution to the triplane multiplication cube, or addition cube, I'm sorry. So I'd like to think that I created the math that describes the intersection of a numerical, invisible, holographic principle that would somehow affect portals, since I believe they're all the same. They would affect the invisibility and intangibility of portals. And this is my magic ghost number cube transparent model in addition form. The numbers don't really matter, but the fact that the inner ghost number is 1/3 of the outer ghost number, 14 and 42, and all the ghost numbers, or all the numbers, not just the ghost numbers, all the numbers are sent through to the other side on both sides. There's a 4 on that side and a 4 on this side. There's a 6 in the middle down here, and there's a 6 on top up there. There's a 10 over here, and a 10 down here. They're wrapping around the equations that define the magic ghost number cube. And I consider this some sort of numerical invisibility holography, because the outer cube can represent the invisible aspect, and the inner cube, the inner layer cube, and the central cube, ghost number cube itself, could represent the holodeck, or the holographic part, and the holographic form, the hologram of numerical holography. And so that's where I'd like my magic ghost number cubes to go, to be some sort of numerical description of intersections of reality, which are both wave function points and portals, invisible, intangible portals. And so this is just a ghost interface paradox. In these portals. These are all my ideas accumulating together. I hope I explained myself right. There's a description in the video that gives the whole gist of everything that I've been talking about. The point, a hyperpoint, would have a new definition, so would fractal lines. So and they would lead to man-made the most basic parts of nature.